So the conversation you're about to watch is between me, Councillor Andy Hughes from Connors Quay, Flint's very own Ian Roscoe, and the only thing I ask is whoever's watching this, click the subscribe button down below, and I'll give you 5 seconds to do it before we start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've done it, mate. I've done it. I've done it, honestly.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, let's go.
Thank you, Chair. The Coalition Administration have a duty to the residents of Flintshire to do everything possible to reduce the impact on them financially, and you have failed in that task with the budget and the proposed 9.5% rise in council tax. In a time our residents have inflated energy bills, high inflation, and in the midst of a cost of living crisis, where residents are choosing whether to heat or eat, you have once again, this budget, put the burden firmly on the doorstep of our residents while blaming everything and everyone else. Yet, unbelievably, as we have discussed, you have increased the budget spend on cabinet positions. This is the only budget that has increased over the year. School budgets cut, street seat funding cuts, transport cuts, cut after cut after cut, and service levels have dropped massively for residents. Yet, you have increased the council spend of over 40k with cabinet expansion. I really hope the residents of Flintshire hear this and hold the coalition to account if this budget is passed. Thank you, Chair.
We're on. We're on. Andy and Ross, thank you very much for coming.
No problem.
Thanks for having us, Lee.
How nervous are you, Ross?
I'm all right, mate.
I wanted this to be the first one because I think it's an important one for the community. Obviously, we've got Andy. I seen that video that you put out, mate, and it was brilliant. Yeah. I think, well, you were the only person that I know who's actively stood up on a fucking camera and decided to voice their opinions and try and make change. And Ross, obviously, you know, as a Flint man, you've got a lot of issues that you've been voicing over social media. I know you've been in contact with the police and stuff like that, and I think it's important to have this conversation for people to understand exactly what's going on in the community, how it's going on as well, and you know what we can do to implement change. And obviously that's why I wanted the pair of you to come here, so you can sit and you can voice. Obviously you're a member of the community yourself, but you've got the experience and knowledge of being in that circle. And obviously he might be able to guide you in certain places, and you might be able to voice your opinions of, you know, the local town. So appreciate you coming down.
No, no problem.
No problem, mate.
So we'll start with Rosk. A couple of the issues that you've highlighted and the event that took place last week. How did that go?
I thought it went all right, Lee. There was a couple hundred there. About 200. We were at the front, me and Amanda. And when we got to by the town hall, waiting for them all to come down, because we were walking down Church Street. We walked up Sydney Street, down Church Street. And they were still coming down 5 minutes, 10 minutes after, so it was good to see. It was a very good turnout.
What did you want from it, from a council perspective?
From a council's perspective, I wanted them to see that the Flint people are tired of it. That, you know, turning up in numbers. And I thought there could have been a bit more, but I was more than happy with what did turn out. Yeah. That the people are fed up with it. Yeah. Increase after increase, and that they're taking stuff away from us as well. And the people just don't want it. And I don't know what it is with myself. I was on a union for a union chair for nearly 20 years.
Back in union day.
Yeah, back in my union day. And I don't know, I just feel I've got to do something. Because no one else was. Everyone was airing their opinion on Facebook. I thought, no, we've got to do something off Facebook, because no one listens. Yeah. And that's what happened.
From your perspective, and obviously you know more than the average bear about what goes on in the council chairs and the meetings and stuff. From what Roscoe's saying there, what's your opinion on the state of events at the moment within Flintshire?
Yeah, obviously I get to see the inner workings, more so than... And listen, I'm not a politician.
No.
I made it crystal clear when I stood for election. I first stood for election after losing my old man. He was a county councillor during the COVID, lost him to COVID, and that was up in Gwynedd, where my mum still lives. And the village asked me to stand. They had one year left of his term. Will I stand? And I stood, kind of to finish off what he started. And then, and I got into it. And then so... when it was time to restand, obviously I'm a Key lad, decided to run in Connah's Quay, in Golfton Ward, and was successful in being elected. So, first of all, it's not a career move. It's not, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not
something that you fell
into. I fell into it. But then, prior to that, I've always been involved in community efforts. Raised tons of money for different charities over the years. So I've always been involved in community work, and and now obviously being the county councillor, I'm just as frustrated as like the rest of them. It's a difficult one. The state of the council at the moment, or the state of the, I know you mentioned the cuts and the 3-week bin collection is the big one at the moment. Listen, I can stand there. We can stand there, and I can oppose it. I've opposed it. Every council tax increase I've opposed. I was adamant the 3-week bin collection. I spoke passionately about that. The frustration thing for me is the people who voted for it, or certain people who voted for it, 2 months before, were screaming it was the wrong decision to make. Now, why they changed their mind, they only know. They actually called... So there's a thing in the council called a call-in. So once the decision is made, if enough councillors want to object that and bring it back to the table, so to speak, you can call it, they can call it in.
Like a vote of no confidence type
thing.
So
you can get councillors to sign it. 8 councillors who signed that form, who basically called that decision in for me bin collection, voted for it. So they've called it in. Something's changed between them calling it in and being opposing to it. A coalition was formed in County Hall, as you're probably aware, the coalition between a certain independent group and the Labour Party. Since then, not one person from that independent coalition has voted against Labour.
Well, when you say independent, are you allowed to say who it is? I don't know.
You can look at it. It's all public knowledge. You can go on the website. So when I was first elected in Connah's Quay, we had a huge, we were close, and numbers were tight. We were hoping at that point the independent group would actually run County Hall and dethrone Labour, so to speak. It didn't happen. We fell short of numbers, but now that original independent group now have basically signed a coalition. Well, they're in coalition with the Labour group. So 2 of them actually, 2 of them are in the cabinet. So in cabinet with Labour. 2 of them are chairs, and there's so much going on in inner workings. And
what does that say to you then, from what's happened there? Is there a message in that you can see, or you believe?
You take that as you want, I know my opinion on it. My opinion is quite strong on it. If I was to tell you I could show you messages on my phone from certain individuals who are now in cabinet, absolutely slating the leader of Flintshire Council and now sit in his cabinet, that says an awful lot to me.
The feathered in the nest then, aren't they? We'll give you this, we'll give you that, just put the tick there and it'll go that way. Because by the sounds of it, correct me if I'm wrong, if them people would have voted against the black bin being 3 weekly, it'd have still been 2 weekly.
Labour, listen, you would have needed some of Labour to turn and to vote against it as well. And obviously Labour on a whip system, so they get told which way to vote. So if you've got a Labour councillor in your area, doesn't matter what they think personally, they will be told which way to vote. Some will rebel and some will go against the whip, but it is unusual. So at the moment, with the Labour having the majority, you need some to rebel as well. But it would have been closer, much closer than it was, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Much closer than it was. And it's reading your room, isn't it? You got to understand, when you stand for a councillor or you stand for election, you got to understand why you get into it. You get into it to be a community role, to be the voice of the community. To be the voice of the community. Now, my opinion might be, let's say, I want 10-week bin collection, my personal opinion. I don't, but just a random number. But if I know that, let's say everyone I'm meant to represent wants 8 weeks, I'll vote 8 weeks. I'll go against what I think, because I know what my role is. My role is to serve the community, to be the voice of the community, and whatever they want. Listen, sometimes I'll vote against what I don't think is right, but I know to the majority. That's all you can ask for me.
That's in the summing up when you go on the Flintshire Council website. And when you look into start being a councillor, it's got a bit of a read up what it'll tell you what it entitles. And it's all about representing the people of your town.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, and whether they, all right, we've got the 3 weekly bin collection. We had a 9.5 rise on the council tax, but no one wanted that, yet they still voted for it. Now, that's what I can't get my head around. They're like, they're our voice. They're our parents of the town, if you like. They look after the people. We voted them in, yet they're still going against us. And that's
like Andy's just said there, it shouldn't be a parental role. It should be an echo role.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the echo of the public, the echo of the community. And I think my opinion there, I've tried to come into this without looking at certain things so I can get your opinion. To me, there's a lot of hidden agendas from the people that are going into cabinet there. If you're saying they voted against something and then a few weeks later they're voting for it, and there's people who opposed a certain, we'll call it regime, but then they're sitting alongside those chairs. For me, that's got personal interest. And I know people want to make a career in politics. That's fine. I've got no problem with it. But from sitting here for fucking 5 minutes, you can realise that it's all agenda-driven rather than, economy-driven or environment-driven. That's my opinion, anyway.
Yes, you can have. Listen, I've got my own personal view on it. They'll, if
you
sure,
tell us?
no, I'm sure if you got them into this room now and they join the conversation, they'd say it's not personal gain, it's what they've done. But in my head, I can't justify. I can't even work out how in 1 minute you're calling in a decision. Yeah. You're literally putting your name to you're signing a bit of paper that you are so unhappy about a decision made. You are going to call that in and oppose it, and then within an 8 week window, something's happened. You're now voting for it. I just can't. I can't work it out.
Brown envelopes, maybe.
Well, I hate that term because honestly, but I do hate that term. Everyone always says it, but trust me, I've never seen one.
Just a simple bank transfer, maybe, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, listen, it's something's happened in there, and cabinet role. Let's say, what I will say is a cabinet role. You get an increase in it's not a salary, it's an expense. We get paid expenses. If they class it as expenses, you get an increased expense allowance for being cabinet. So there's a monetary value there. You get an increased expense allowance if you're chair of a committee. You get an increase in expenses if you're, let's say, on fire authority. So all those roles are now, there's certain people in roles now who are getting more expenses on the back of that decision to join that coalition.
Interesting. And again, if people want to go into that, if that's the career that people want to pursue, I've got no issue with it. But at the same time, fucking almost 10%, that is massive. Between me and my partner, me and my missus, we earn a decent wage, decent living. There's people, as we all know, people who are really, really struggling financially to the point where, and I'll say it, it's driving people to drink more. It's driving people to take drugs. It's driving people. And I know everybody's accountable for their own actions, but at the same time, not everybody has that mindset. And some people look at it, I have got no other option but to go and do X, Y, and Z, whatever that may be. And I just think it's unfair. And I think that it needs to be addressed next year, if that's the...
I had the
year in May it is.
Is it?
Yeah, 18 months left.
I got that wrong on the March. I said it was next year, but it's the year after the local elections. But going back to the council tax rise, I had a fella turn up. He's a good Evertonian as well, but he turned up.
A good Evertonian? Is that such a thing?
Yeah.
Good Evertonian?
With 2 ones, haven't we?
Right, okay.
Leave it there. But he come from Hollywell, Greenfield, I can't remember which one it is, Larry, and his has gone up £100 odd.
Yeah.
£100 odd pound. It's just... People haven't got that money.
Yeah, listen, counter tax rise. There is. I understand. I don't understand it because I voted against it, and I think it was way too much. If you got the decision makers in the room now, who table that raise, what they'll say to you is the council has a legal objective to set a balanced budget. That's what they'll say to you, which is true. I've got no argument to that. But in the same, when we set that budget. There was a something was put down on the table to basically put 1.2 million, I think it was, back into the school's budget. I might got that figure wrong, but it was a chunk of money to put back into, and that was rejected. That was rejected. There was Welsh Government, Welsh Assembly had issued Flintshire Council a sum of money, which wasn't expected. It wasn't anyone's budget, and it was a decent chunk of money. So we've now, as a council, we've put that into our reserves. That's what they voted to do, to bolster our reserves. The argument was, you didn't know that money was coming. Which on this budget, we're now hammering school budgets. Just put some of that back into school budgets, and that was opposed. So,
what was the reason behind that?
We needed to protect our reserves. But there was no beforehand. Before that money came in, there was no one knew that money was coming. It was Liberal Democrats actually who won it down. Who actually drove that decision down in Cardiff, and fair play to them.
When you say they drove that decision, they rejected it.
No. So the representative of the Lib Dem is down in Cardiff. she drove that decision and basically pushed for that, and they fair.
All right.
Listened and
for the 1.2.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they sent it up. Liberal Democrats on the day of the budget signed, so said, listen, some of that money now should be put back into this area. I voted for that. I thought it was a great idea, putting back into school budgets.
Yeah.
I thought, being independent, I can sit there and I can listen to all the information. I can decide as I like that. I think people like that. That's a great idea. But then Labour opposed that.
I'm not political at all, me, and right.
Yeah.
So if I was Labour, which I wouldn't be anyway, the way they've been, right, I'd be expected to, what happened if I opposed something like my leader was saying we've got to vote for? What had happened then? I thought the old point of being a politician, and I am green where politics are concerned. If I voted no, I don't want that. Yeah. Am I in trouble by him? Yeah. So in what way?
So it's called being whipped in. So beforehand, every time we have a council meeting, the Labour group or the Labour coalition now, Labour Indies, or the lie, Labour Independent Eagles.
They're all liars.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I said the Labour. No. It's a Labour Independent and Eagles. Yeah, Labour Independent Eagles group. So if it's a new terminology, LIE. That's what they meet an hour before the meeting, and they'll go through the agenda, and they'll decide then which way they're going to vote. So. And they'll pretty much told. The independent group say they're not whipped and they'll vote the same way. But you can't really say that to me because every vote that's been taking place since the coalition was formed, they've all voted the same way. So something's changed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They vote. The independent group voted for a Labour leader. They're meant to be the biggest opposition. They didn't even put an opposition. They didn't even put a candidate forward to be voted down. He would get voted down because Labour had the numbers. But the previous 2 years before the coalition, we'd put someone up there to be leader of the council. They didn't even do that this year. They didn't do that. They just went, we'll back the Labour fella. I'm thinking, why are you doing that? The people of Connacht, I represent Connacht Quay, so I'm not in Flint, I'm Connacht Quay. That election, when we won 3 years ago, we wiped out every single Labour county councillor in Connacht Quay as an independent. It must be sickening, for me personally, for the people who voted that change. It was a big thing in Connacht Quay to knock out Labour. Yeah. Everyone said, you stick a red rose on a donkey down there, you get elected if you have the Labour badge on. So for us to do that in one hit, and within the space of one term, which is a 5-year term, the space of that term, to be voting with Labour now and being so to be in bed with Labour is, I don't know, people are going to stomach that. And I think it might be a bit of a shock when it comes to election when that sinks in. Yeah, I do, mate. I do.
Not next year, the year after 2027. It could easily happen in Flint then.
Yeah, it could. But I think that those who have done that and have got into bed with Labour, they'll say they're independent still, and they're not work closely with Labour. Well, you're having a meeting before the meeting with Labour, so you are in bed with Labour. You're going through the agenda with Labour, so therefore you're in bed with Labour. It's not rocket science. If you're meeting with a Labour group before a council meeting to work out which way you're going to vote, there's no opposition there, is there? You're in coalition. That's as simple as that. And then to have two of them in the cabinet, so what the leader will say is that he wants a cross-party cabinet, so he wants everyone to be involved. Everyone's not involved. It's just
sounds like fucking corruption to me. Not coalition.
It's opened my eyes a bit.
Yeah. And people need to, that's what's going on. It's not. I'm not telling you anything now. It's not in public domain. You can Google it yourself. Look yourself. You know who's in the cabinet. Just Google it.
Do you know who it is, Ross?
Well,
what are you saying?
No, even the fella off Labour, or the thingy doesn't even know who it is, does he? That one that stood up the other day.
That's the leader of the council.
The leader of the council. Did you see it?
No.
The leader of the council.
I've tried to
got
not
asked,
watch anything, just so I wanted to come in and get it off you guys.
He got asked, and am I right, Andy?
Yeah, so Councillor Alice Ibbison.
This was getting broadcasted as well.
Yeah, everything's live. So he was asked in the meeting, was a change to cabinet. He said no, it wasn't change cabinet, and Alice Ibbison made a point and said no, the leader has to then specify who's in cabinet and what roles. He didn't know that point. So it's his own cabinet.
Someone handed him a piece of paper.
To give him a bit of paper.
Just said, read off that.
It's
basically like, who's on the paper. That's who it is.
So there's 10 in cabinet. So there was always 8. There was 8 last year, but they voted to put 2 more in. So that's the cost of the council.
Is that the extra? Is that 80,000 or something?
Yeah, that's it.
40,000 each per person.
It works out over the term. It works out. It's a chunk of money. So imagine you have a football team and someone said to you, name your starting 11.
Yeah, that's all.
And you haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
Imagine that Pep Guardiola thing. He was just our 11. We've got a bit of paper here. Can you imagine doing that? It wasn't what happened, would it?
No, that's a good point.
It's not like he wasn't asked for 50 names in alphabetical order. He was asked to name his closest team, his cabinet. Couldn't do it. That opened my eyes a bit as well.
It opened mine. I did get sent it. Like I say, I'm not very political myself, but I just want rights for the people in Flint and all that. And that was just terrible, to the point where I bet he'd forget his own name. It's someone like that. If he's in charge of them people should be looking up and thinking...
Do you believe these people genuinely give a fuck about the people in the communities?
Do I? Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And that was a genuine question.
I do. I think everyone gets into that role. Listen, I explain how I got into my role, but previously I did a lot of work in the community. Yeah, I do. Honestly, okay. I generally believe that everyone in that chamber wants to do the best for their community. I do. How they go about it, that's what I'm struggling with.
And that was the reason why I asked the question, and because that was a genuine question. That wasn't me trying to say whether people think they're good or bad, because I've got my opinions as well. And I know there's a couple of... I know a lady who's involved, Mel from Flint. She made the decision to vote against, vote for, sorry.
Yeah.
And then, which is something I do not agree with, whatever. She got bombarded on Facebook.
So did
yeah,
they all did. I think one abstained
to the point where it affected her a lot.
Yeah,
and I think there should be pathways. The correct pathway to go if you want to make complaints and inquiries. You do it the proper way, and people inboxing her constantly on Facebook and
it's difficult.
Facebook statuses, but at the same time, it's the position that you're in. Same with what we're doing here. I got given the advice when you put yourself out there, people are going to either vote or react positively to what you're doing or negatively, and there's always going to be a bit of both.
Of course it is. Doesn't matter what you do.
But as a human being, as what I know of Mel, I think she's a lovely woman.
She is.
A fantastic human being, and that made me sort of question it at the time. Does she genuinely believe she's doing this for the right reasons? And the answer was yes. So my question is, and I don't know whether you'll be able to answer it or you'll be able to answer it, is what do you believe the reasons were for the vote for the tax raise?
I got told by one of them it was either that or go bankrupt.
Right.
Now again, I don't know what. I'll ask Andy. What does if Flintshire County Council went bankrupt?
Yeah.
How would that impact the people of Flintshire?
How would it impact? Okay, so basically, you're talking. Very similar to what happened down in Birmingham, So the administrators come in effectively. Any non-essential services cease immediately. So stop.
What's non-essential?
So you're looking at libraries,
right?
Stuff like that. They'll cease. And then the councillors or the council then have no control about what goes on with the community. The auditors basically tell them where they're spending, how they're spending, and when they're going to spend it. So basically you lose control of your council. Now nobody wants that. How close we were to that? I've got my own opinion. I don't think we were that close. I don't think we were as close as people. I think that was a mechanism used or a term used to justify a rise that perhaps didn't need to be so high.
So another lie.
I'm not saying it's like that's my opinion. My opinion is I don't think we were. If we were so close to a section to vote to go into bankruptcy, and in the same meeting vote to put 2 more cabinet members in at a cost of if you worry about if you're looking at your last couple of quid, you know you're going to spend it. You know about it. You're not going to then increase. Go to the pub and buy yourself. No. If you're particularly worried, and now they'll say 80 grand. You're talking about this and this. It's 0.3% of what the budget is, but it's still 80 grand in it.
Too right it is, yeah.
It's still 80 grand in it.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not talking a couple of quid.
10%, 10%.
10% is 10%. Yeah. Now, and they'll throw back at me. They'll if they see this podcast, they'll throw back at me. What was your alternative budget? Listen, I didn't put an alternative budget. I'm not in a position of power. It's a difficult position where they got to put a balanced budget in. I understand that, and I get that. But
I think the bigger question for me, just sorry to interject, is that how does a council who sort of oversees 150,000 people even get into the point where it's going to be bankrupted? That just seems so like financial mismanagement to me.
Yeah, it's not. We get some money from, and it is well known. We get some money from Cardiff, so. You imagine, comes from Westminster down to Cardiff and get divvied up. So we get our share. Flintshire is particularly underfunded by Cardiff. It's been around.
It's one of the least funded.
Yeah, we're in the bottom three. Yeah. So if you look at that, that's your root cause. That's your issue there. Since that, so we've known now we've had 9.5 and a 9.3. I think we had over those 2 years. We had two big increase there, enough to. Stop you making money.
15% over the 2 years.
There you go, 15% over 2 years. So it's a decent.
Thereabouts.
Yeah. Might be wrong. So it's a lump sum in it. But since then, I've not seen, and I might be wrong, and someone wants to stand and correct me. I've not seen. And listen, look at me. My own reflection. I've not done enough either. Have we actually been on the blower to call? Hold on. Have we campaigned when my old man was alive and he did it? He organised a bus. He took a bus of councillors down to Cardiff, and they stood outside the building and sort this out. Like what's going on, and it's. I've not seen an email flying about saying that, and then next year it'll come again. We'll be underfunded again, and it'll be the same issue. But what we're actually doing to stop it? What we actually do?
Lee. Mark Tamu then.
Yeah.
Why isn't he bringing this up?
It's Jack Sargent in the Senate, isn't it? Mark Tammy's MP. No idea. Ask him.
Yes.
Ask him, but you probably have to be after the next election before you get a reply.
I'd have a clap in my hands and shit.
And this is the question. One of the biggest questions I had, or the biggest frustrations was, and this isn't with you, Ross. This is just with in general. We're very opinionated when it comes to social media, and this is why I wanted you two to come here and have this conversation. We're very, and as is everybody. Everybody's opinionated on social media. What action is there willing to be done about it? And from you did the walk, and the police came to see you, didn't they?
Yeah, I went to see I went to see the police, and then, in all fairness to the police, they did keep in touch.
Yeah, and obviously you ensured that it was a peaceful protest. You didn't want to incite violence and things like that, which is brilliant. I think that's a positive step to take within the community. Yeah. But as far as us as the community, and that is the question that what I wanted to ask here. What can be done within our environment safely, within the law, doesn't break any laws, no violence, anything. What do you believe? Like Andy's just said there, his old man took a busload and a peaceful protest. What do you believe, or anybody watching, bang it in the comments, YouTuber, what do you believe that not the solution, but the possibilities from a community aspect? What are the possibilities of highlighting the issues within Flintshire? You saying there that it's one of the bottom three funded in Wales, and I'll be honest, you were starting to see that. You can see that within not just Flint, Connors Quay, Shotton, Deeside, Baggle, Mould. The streets are starting to look fucking aged, haggard streets, and how do we go about improving the quality of life for not just us but the kids? When we were kids. Me and you were at similar age. We played football. We'd go.
You never tell, would you? You never tell. Put a long paper around him, honey.
Look, you tell. I've got a bone to pick with him in a bit. Do you remember the Gwyn and Monmouth match?
Yeah.
Did I get megged or did I get lobbed?
Both.
Yeah. He was stood on the side. He was a goalkeeper and I'm a goalkeeper. He said, he's gonna lob you there. I got fucking lobbed. Give me nightmares for about 10 years. As soon as I seen his video, I thought, that's that cunt who took the piss out of me. But yeah, from for the kids, there's nothing now for children. kids these days are locked on iPads, computer games, you know, and I'll say there's nothing. That's wrong. There is things, but I don't believe there's enough.
No.
There should be more.
But on that, I'm my finger. So I've got 4 kids myself. When we were kids, when I was back in the day, there's been a load of studies about this. Well, we were the last generation that actually went out and played out.
Yeah.
There's so much fear now in parents.
Yeah.
And what you know, if you want to keep someone in the house all day, they will end up in technology.
Yeah.
I back onto a kid's park now. I've got to go and check every 10 minutes out the window.
Yeah.
You know, to keep my wife's anxiety right down. Because if she, I can't lock eyes on the kids, I'm getting my shoes and look around. When we were kids, we were travelling
Miles.
In the street, like, come on.
Do you believe that fear is justified, though?
Do I?
Yeah.
I think it's gone too far. I generally do think it's gone too far. And I think, you know, how many life skills did we learn mucking about with kids?
Yeah.
That's the only way you do learn, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you don't get your parents teaching you to climb up a tree or things like that, do you? And you're stopping out that extra half hour and seeing what the consequences are when you get in and all that. It's...
If you go past, you have a little think now. If you drive past most kid parks now, most, you know, and a decent parks, they're not like, you know, well looked after.
They are,
yeah, they're good. But there's not many kids on them.
No.
If there is, the parents are with them.
Of course, yeah. Maybe that's, I don't know. That's just a bit of a tangent, isn't it? But I think we are a bit.
One of the other questions I've got for yourselves is, and I didn't think of many questions, but we seem to be having this massive influx at the moment of people who've been to prison for sexual assaults, more so on children, and they seem to be all getting housed within a certain area. I might be wrong in saying that. That's what it looks like when you look at social media. And I know there's a few in Flint within the close vicinity of the town. I'm not sure of the key. I'd imagine there is.
You're on about the old town hall, not the old post office.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologise. The old post office. There's been a few there, mate. One's come out of prison. Something happened. An awful thing happened in Botherwithin.
Yeah, it was all over the news.
It was all over the news, and he got life for it. But the thing is, mate, he come out after doing a serious sexual crime, and they housed him there, and went on about, are your children safe and all that. You know, you're giving your money to kids, nip downtown, just get out the house with your mates. Here's a couple of quid, here's a £5 and all that. And the first place they go is the town centre. And you've got people like that there, and it hasn't happened once. There's been a few there, mate. You know, they're in houses in Flint as well, 1 or 2 places, serious sex nonsense. You know. What is
do you know the protocol from that, or is that
it's
beyond?
a issue, no. Nothing to do with the council get involved in that.
Don't they?
No.
Where does that stand for? Is that police?
Police, wasn't it? Police and parole, got to be on it.
I think a friend of mine spoke to Andy Dunbobbin, and he's on about coming on this, so that might be a question for him.
Who's he, if you know?
Sorry?
Who's he?
He's the police chief commissioner?
No, police crime commissioner.
Police crime commissioner.
So they'd have a say where to house these people?
There's got to be some communication.
There's got to be, haven't there? Because
the police got to be informed, haven't they? Surely. I said I'm uneducated. I have no idea. But I'm guessing you'd be released date and the probation officer will speak to the police, and they'll know who's housed where, won't they? It's safety, won't it?
It's the same everywhere though, and that's one thing you don't want, do you, in your town, stuff like that happening, like.
No.
And while you've got people, we're lucky in a way, because that monster that got jailed for life doing that to the poor girl in Botherwithin, that could have happened in Flintshire. It could have happened anywhere around here. So I don't know. I haven't got the answer for that, or I don't think many people have. But it needs addressing.
Is there anything that you wanted to highlight? I know when we spoke the other day, you said you've got a lot that you wanted to say. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to?
No, it's been touched on a lot. You know, certain stuff that needs being. You know, I've spoke about again. I've said nothing that's not out there. It's just going to find the information. You're going to go and find it. No.
Just before we went off on a tangent, you said it's so easy to just voice opinions on social media, and it's just an echo chamber, or it just doesn't do anything. You asked what are things people can do to sort of affect change, rather than just rant on social media. What are some processes that you tend to complain or whatever?
Yeah.
I'd like to know a bit more about that.
Well, I mean, and that's a question for the community, I guess, right? And I think, you know, with the protest that you did the other day, is there anything that you want to bring off that? Is there anything going forward now that you want to move?
Going forward, we've got a meeting. I've spoke to Michelle Perfect. I couldn't think of her name then, sorry. I've spoke to Michelle Perfect. We've got to arrange a meeting with her. Not me and her. There's going to be a few of us. I'm going to invite you if you want to come along, Lee. And just air our opinions, a group of us that feel strongly the views the same as myself.
Have you had any feedback on your opinions from anybody in the council?
No, not one.
No, because that would be interesting to obviously get that sit down and understand from their perspective, because I think one of the biggest things that could have helped resolution in this case is for better communication. I think when the decisions were made for the 3 weekly bins, for the 10% tax rise, it may have been well communicated following the process within the council, but for weeks and weeks there was people complaining, people were seeing their ass on social media, and I think with a better line of communication or connection between the council and the community, whether that be through local councillors or, I don't know, an independent group of civilians that meet up with councillors on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis or whatever, I think that is more beneficial than silence, you know. I think that maybe that could be something that you could look at, you know, making an independent civilian group which meet up or for, I don't know, an hour a month or something with the local councillors.
Saying that, I think before we have the meeting with the other council, it's not just with Michelle, it'll be with other councillors as well, I hope. We are going to sit down, the group of people that are going to have the meeting with them, so we can get our facts and figures right, so we come across professional, if you like.
They know what the frustrations are. They must do. I mean, it's an echo that's echoed all around fucking North Wales.
Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what, Lee? And I don't know if Andy will agree with me, right? To be a good councillor, I think all you got to do is, like Andy said earlier on, well, I believe the best thing you could do is just try and fight for what's good for the people, what they want. Of course, you're going to get people saying, "Oh, I don't want that. Why did you ask for that?" But if the majority of the people want something, just fight for it for them.
Yeah, I think that was an honourable thing what you said before, Andy. That you were almost placed into that position without actually going for it, and sometimes you've gone against your own perspective of what you believe is beneficial for yourself, knowing that it's more beneficial on a broader scale for the community. And I think that's an honourable and it's the right thing to do. And from what you said initially in this conversation, it doesn't always seem to be the right, thought process for a lot of people within the council. I'm pretty sure there is personal agendas and personal gain. I'm pretty sure of that. That happens everywhere in all walks of life, in all walks of professions. Within processing, the type of work that me and you do, that happens. And when I said brown envelopes before, I didn't necessarily mean. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure there is, if you do this, I'll help you get this job. That will be happening.
That happens. That happens in politics.
It happens everywhere.
If you want to talk about it, I'm not political, but if you look even down the MPs down Westminster, you saw it last week with Labour doing the U-turn on the allowance because they were going to cut. They had to make a sacrifice. Well, you vote for this, and we'll make sure we'll take this out of it. So it does happen, that'll never change in politics. But I'll just reiterate, I'm never claimed to be a politician. I'm not a politician. Yeah. I just and the level that I'm at, I think, as a county councillor for Golfton and Connaskey, it shouldn't come into it. You literally at that level, there's no, you just get out there, listen to what people are telling you, and just go and act on it. It's not a difficult.
It's not, is it? It's not rocket science.
What change would you like to see from a councillor's perspective? If you could pick, let's say, excuse me, 3 key things what you'd like to see change over the next 18 months. Like you said, that's the next time they'll make decisions for change. I'd take it. Yeah.
So obviously the next election is May 27. What would 3 things I'd like to see change? If I had like a magic thing now, I'd say 1 would be get us top of the list from Cardiff budget. And if we get that would just solve everyone's issue because we'd have money to spend. Yeah. That would be number 1. What else will I change? 2, parking. Big way of mine. Personal schools, yeah. So I've just, luckily, I represent the Connasquay Town Council as well. I put a proposal forward in the last meeting and everyone agreed on it. We've got so in Connasquay, the Town Council's got a fund for every primary school. 4, have you seen those signs, no parking, in the school uniform? So every primary school in Connasquay, you only have 4 of those. Because it is lethal. Listen, I do a school runs, and sometimes you park, there, but when you park on the zigzags outside school gates, hey, come on.
Yeah.
I know it's being lazy. Yeah. It's like that. It's so...
You can't know.
It's a big thing for me as well. I used to live in Henry Taylor Street, behind Marsh Lane football pitch, and the parking was horrendous. And it was an accident, but my son got run over when he was about 6, broke his leg, snapped his leg. Yeah. And so, I get the concerns of parents. It's dangerous. The Richard Gwynn, they park all up the hill, don't they? Left and right.
But all you got to do. So we had an issue with Connasquay High School with parking, and it was frustrating. The road across adjacent to the gates were horrendous. They've now got to put double yellow lines in there. Some people like it, some people don't. So I spoke to James Ford, the head teacher at Connasquay, and said, James, what an issue with parking. Look how much room you got on site. Is there any chance we can get together, have a meeting? Can we allow cars? Come on, let me have a look at it. Difficult, but James, fair dues to him, he will come back to you.
Yeah.
When we went for a meeting with him, sat down. He goes, right, I've come up with an idea. We'll open the gates, school gates, 5 minutes. We'll open the gates for the parents to go and park on the site. They've got to be in before 5 to 3. We'll then lock the gates behind them. And they can't leave site till 5 past 3. So everyone now in Connasquay High School, if you're picking up your kid, you can go onto the grounds. Yeah. You're in, and you have staff monitoring it. And you know what? I guarantee you, if you parked where people were parking in Golf Lane and all that, if you park on the school gates, I know these people say, well, I'm not being locked in for 5 past 3. Your kid won't get to you until 5 past 3 anyway, so you're not losing any time. And I use it all the time now. I go in there, park, dead safe, everything, get a bit of work done, and just pull out and you're done. And that's just going communicating with the head teacher. Yeah. This is the issue. How do we solve it? Solved. Yeah. And it's improved.
And I believe that genuinely is the way that we should be doing it as a community. And again, I'll keep referring back to social media, and a lot of people will write on there that there needs to be a process from the community aspect. And I know we have councillors who are the voice, and like you say, I commend the work you're doing, but we need to be a bit more accountable, I think. And if there's something that's going wrong, we need to learn to, the community spirit, man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Come together and do something about it. It's I don't know, community is not what it used to be. It's a very, Flint, Connasquay, they were all very tight-knit years ago. And segregation seems to happen a lot these days, and for whatever reason. But, we need to hold ourselves accountable a little bit more, and accountability by action, I think. Positive action, empowering action, and I think that's from the community aspect. I think that would be really important to do.
Go a long way, won't it?
Yeah. So I'll ask you the same question, Ross. What 3 things would you like to see change
in Flint or Flintshire?
In general, so we'll say
everywhere. Really, I don't want to sound selfish because I always say in Flintshire, I'd like to see more for the young teenagers. I don't know. Going back when we were younger, we were always in the youth club. Always, it was brilliant. And we'd have trips down to Connasquay to play pool and table tennis. We always used to win the key, lads.
I got battered outside D-side ice rink.
No, but it was always something to do in the youth club. It was open most nights, but I don't know what happened. But I don't think there's any youth clubs now. A lad I work with, Carl, he's got a boxing club in Flint.
Yeah, Carl Madden,
and he tries to get the young lads in there. He's a good lad. Yeah. And but that's one thing I'd like to try and help the teenagers. It'd be nice. I know everyone tries, but just to get the town looking nice. And in all fairness, it has. I was telling Andy earlier on, the big field by me behind the Borough Club and at the Eisteddford field.
Yeah, it's behind me as well. I live the other side of it.
Well, you'll know, it got cut about 3 times last year.
Yeah.
How many times has it been cut this year? It looks immaculate and it's nice and it's tidy. Yeah. Just to carry on with that, like.
Consistency.
And
You've got to mention free bin collection here.
And
Number 3, you've got to mention that, mate.
I
was waiting for that.
If anything, I'd be very happy, and I was going to ask Andy, just the 2 weekly bin collection, because unless you live just 2 of yous, right?
Yeah.
Why can't we just go back to the 2 weekly bin collection? It's a lot of people are struggling. They're giving 2 bins out if you've got 7 or more people. It's still not enough.
Again, rat infestation is one for me with these bins. You're seeing a lot more rats even in the daytime now, and because bins, people are just leaving bins overflow, and people talk about recycling. If it wasn't for my missus, I wouldn't recycle. I'll be honest, and I'd imagine there's a lot of people with that mentality. As soon as the bin's full, you just empty it.
But going back to the lads, them poor lads, and I say poor lads, the lads that work at the skips, Lee, right? They're having to open bin bags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you went for a job, when someone brings a bag, you've got to put it on a table and rummage through it to make sure.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I'm not doing that. No chance.
Yeah.
And then poor lads are doing it. I bet they haven't got a rise for doing it. The stick they're getting, I bet they haven't got a rise for all the stick they're getting.
They're having to wear, but I don't know if you've seen it, they're having to wear body cameras now as well.
It's wrong, mate.
People get physical towards
It's
them.
wrong, and they're good lads. They are friendly and they help you out and that. They shouldn't have to put up with that.
What's your thoughts on that, and what do you believe is that something that they could? I know it's easy to say here and now, it's sat here, but what's your thoughts around that?
On the 3 week bin collections? Nightmare, to be honest. Nightmare.
Could we change it, Andy?
Of course you change it.
Yeah.
Everything can be changed, of course you can. If you got, listening, you could be changed, simple as that. If you got, see, my thing with 3 week bin collection is, so we used to do 2 black, didn't we? And then 2 brown, didn't we? So 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Use the same wagons. The same wagons go round. We haven't got separate wagons for black and brown. So now there's 3 weekly bin collection. Every second pickup, it's the same day, isn't it? Black and brown. How are they doing that? I still can't work it out. It's the same day, isn't it? It's using the same wagons. So if you've got 3 weekly, and your brown's still every 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 2, 4, 6, 3, 6. They're the same wagons. How are they doing that? I still can't get my head on that. But anyway, it's down to money. It's going to save us a chunk of money apparently.
But let's get it as well. They're making a chunk of money off the scrap they get.
Yeah. But
big chunk of money.
But if you take that. It can be changed, to answer the question. And it should be changed, in my opinion. Because if you, let's say, every business mistakes are made, every business. So let's say the mistake's made now, and I'm your bin guy, I miss your bin. I didn't mean to do it, but I've drove past it and I missed it somehow.
Yeah.
That's a month and a half you'll wait.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
A month and a half.
That's massive.
Yeah. Big old wait,
That's when the kids break up for summer holidays.
Yeah,
they get emptied, and then they'll get emptied again because they've missed you when the kids go back.
6 weeks, long time. And you can report a missed bin collection, and they will act on it. But if they are busy, then you might wait an extra week or so. But it's a long time, isn't it?
They missed mine a couple of months ago, and they missed it. There was nothing wrong with it. It got missed, and I had a problem.
Was it Outley?
Yeah.
They just walk past it.
Yeah, Zoe always puts them. I'm supposed to put them out on a Friday. My missus does it because I'll forget every fucking week, mate. But it was missed. I phoned them up, and it was 7 days it took them to come out. Yeah, and again, it's
that put you on 4 weeks. I'm putting a month on it.
It's a big difference. There's a big difference.
As far as that goes, I think that'll wrap that bit up.
Yep.
Don't know about you, Ross, but me and you spoke, and you wanted to share a bit on yourself about this, because obviously a lot of what I do is around mental health and addiction.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to just share a bit about the struggles that you've been through.
Yeah.
If that's something you still want to do, mate.
Man. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No.
Hey?
No.
Yeah.
So big thing for me is gambling. So I was in a bad way with the old bookmaker, the gambling. Now, for me, anyone that's in a trouble or in danger with that, not danger, wrong word, but anyone that's struggling with that at the moment, just honestly, the best thing to do is reach out, speak to someone. Now, I played when I was at YTS at Telford, and I went down to Peterborough, and football-wise, I was always around gambling, always. But I got to the point, my worst point in gambling, I believe 13.5 grand in a day. I was, mate, yeah. I was betting on the under-9s ping pong league in China at 3 in the morning. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
What colour ball were they going to use next? You know what I mean? And I wasn't putting like £2 on it. I was putting a chunk of money. So it gets you. And I see myself as a half intelligent fella. Not the brightest spark in the box, but I'm not. You know, I think I understand stuff.
Yeah.
So it got hold of me in such a way, mate. It nearly cost me literally my life, my missus, you know, my kids, the house. You know, literally got to a point that bad. So I reached out. I wouldn't say voluntary. I think my missus was a big part of that. Listen, you need help. Go and get help. And I went on to a course through GamStop, innit? Yeah. So I went with GamStop, and I had about 14 one-to-one therapy sessions. Yeah. Best thing I ever did, you know.
What therapy was it, do you know?
Just sit. I've been doing now. Just
CBT.
sat, just talking.
Talking.
There'll be CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. Yeah, it's talking therapy, really.
Yeah, honestly, that was it. Literally sat in a room, met her up in Alderman Paul, used to go to every Thursday, and I'd sit there and literally, and she'd, my first session, she didn't say a word, she just let me speak. Yeah. Everything, just literally tell me everything. And then eventually slowly broke it down, like, why you do, what's your behaviour, why are you doing it? So what I would say is, if anyone is in a thing where, listen, it's got too much for you, because honestly, it's not just your bank accounts it affects as well. It's your own personal being, your own person, self-esteem, your own mind, you know, and you're constantly thinking about you need to get that money back, chase that money. And honestly, it sends you to the pits and back. Like,
it's a shame, and it seems to be a big thing in football, doesn't it?
Massive, massive.
That's a good point.
It's
part of the culture, maybe.
It was, back in the day. I'm not sure if it still is now. Well, I'm sure it is now, but even now, like, I haven't had a single bet in 4 years? Well, probably now 4 or 5 years, must be. And but even now, if I'm watching the footy on the Sunday with my lad, it must be like 10 adverts on Sky. Every break every break is a gamble.
That's a good point as well. It's associated to the sport, isn't it?
Yeah. Every break, you know, we've got the shirt sponsors now. You know, I know that they're all going to ban it, but at the moment it's still there, aren't they?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, as if it's normalised, isn't it? Yeah. Everyone should have a bet.
And the thing is, so I study addiction. I'm doing a master's at the moment in trauma psychology and addiction. Addiction is environmental. It's cultural. So when we talk cocaine, heroin, gambling, porn, sex, these are all cultural. So different cultures have different addictions. Mm-hmm. That's scientifically proven. And the British culture, a lot of it is cocaine, alcohol, gambling, sex. They're probably the 4 biggest addictions. Don't get me wrong. So there's others, heroin and things like that. But cocaine, alcohol, gambling, and sex are the 4 biggest, or were the 4 biggest in the UK. And that's something that I learned that's extremely important. Is the environmental aspect of it comes into play. So, and that's proving the point there. Football, gambling, you know, pubs, cocaine, they associate with certain addictions, associate with others. My next question to that was, did you ever find the root cause through therapy?
Root cause? Just down, I generally believe it's just down to football. I'm not throwing it all in the bus, because like, when I was playing at Nomads, we used to we played Haverford for a week. You know, you're leaving the house at 7:30. They were good days with Nev Powell. He was what a fella he is, mate. What a fella he is. And but it was like a party bus. So literally, before the kit was put on the bus in the morning, 10 crates of ale were put on the bus before the kit was on. So we knew coming home, win, lose or draw, we're getting absolutely walloped there coming home. You know, something like what, you know, from Haverford West, and where Haverford West ground is, the Tesco's there. We used to stop and get, you know, bags of ice now after the game. I think we got beat one day. Went down there. I think we got snotted 3-0. Driving back, we start off, when you get beat, the first hour is quite quiet. Everyone's pretending they're gutted. You've got a pocket full of cash.
What a shame.
What a shame. You got a little bail, yeah. And we always used to do, so when we hit the Flintshire sign, this is honest God, when we hit the Flintshire sign, and we were all absolutely pie-eyed, we'd literally go, right, highest card, get 100 quid out your wages now, 100 quid on the table there now. Everyone used to do it, 100 quid down, highest card takes the pot. That was it. Really? Yeah, wow. Highest card. There used to be like 8 or 9 of us used to just do it. So I was getting off the bus. So you get back to you stop off the halfway house, get back to the halfway for, I don't know, 9:30, 10. You're stumbling off the bus. Now, you either stumble off the bus, your missus is waiting for you, and she's expecting you to have your wages there, by the way. Yeah. So not only she fume with you, because you're absolutely smashed, you know, you can hardly walk. She'll ask for your wages. Go get your wages. You've either got so much cash. It's like, what have you been doing? Like, just money falling in your pockets, or you're walking home like or you're walking home
beans
like,
on toast. For the rest
yeah.
of the
Actually, don't like. She's going to drive off, leave you in the car park, or you got up so much money, you might as well go to a steakhouse for tea. Like, and that was always the way. You used to look forward to it as well. You used to every single trip. Did you believe that it was addiction? Because obviously gambling's a slightly different one compared to drugs, for instance, or alcohol. For a long time, people didn't see gambling as an addiction. Yeah. So the terminology for addiction is it's a short-term solution that makes you feel good, but it in turn becomes a long-term problem that you can never stop, that you can't stop doing. That's what addiction is. Yeah. So through the studies that I've done, and again, I say this a lot, Gabor Mate, he's one of the leading psychologists in the world on addiction and trauma, and his quote, and it's my fucking quote now, is addiction is a psychological and emotional response to human suffering. So the reason I asked you about the root cause is because with a lot of people who fall into addiction, and you can pick your poison, whatever your poison is, there'll be something that triggers that reward center in the brain, the dopamine levels, that instantly takes you from there to right up there. Whatever that hit is, whether it's a drug, alcohol, porn, food, gambling, whatever. Yeah. And that there, so the more you do it, that the standard level of, say, dopamine in the brain reduces, and it keeps on. That's where you get especially in drugs, you're chasing that high, because your dopamine levels are constantly reducing, and you've got to do it more and more and more. And again, it's whether this is true or not with yourself. Have you heard of ACEs, adverse childhood events? No. So ACEs it's a pyramid of let's call it a trauma pyramid for the sake of the conversation. And with a lot of people, and I'd probably say 99.9% of the people that I've spoke to in addiction have had trauma in their life, or a pain, or a suffering, whatever that may be. And that can go from something as simple as early birth. Your mum's give birth to you early. You've been in an incubator 10 weeks early. So it's not the event that's trauma. It's what you hold in your body. That's trauma. Mm-hmm. So you being born 10 weeks premature, the body, it's a stress response. The body doesn't know what to do. So we need stress as human beings. Yeah. You know, it's good for us, keeps us alert, keeps us awake. But when your reward or safety systems are overridden and it's fucking flooded with all this fear or trauma, the body doesn't know what to do. So what it does, it stores it in certain parts of the body. I had it in my left hand since I was a little boy. Everybody used to think I had Parkinson's disease. Yeah. It's gone now. Plus, I haven't had a drink for a long, long time. Yeah. But so as far as adverse childhood events go, there's always a root cause, right? There's always something that allows that trigger of, let's call it addiction, to make you go, fucking hell, this makes me feel good. Because it does. Do you know what, though? I'd say true story. True story. If you say it makes you feel good, right? Imagine this now. I'm sat at home when I was in the peak of it all, right? Sat at home, and I put this mad. I picked someone to win the golf that day. I put like a mad accumulator on. So I put like 10 different sports. It must have been a Saturday because there was boxing on. And I was waiting for someone to win the boxing at night. I can't remember the fight was now. And if it came in, I got $7,500. If it came in, the fucking fella won the boxing. So I've just won Saturday night now. I've had a few beers in me as well. I've just won $7,500. Didn't flinch.
So was that when you were in active addiction, or was that at the beginning?
Active. That's when.
So active addiction, it won't make you feel good. It actually makes you feel worse.
I was sat there going, just won $7,500. Honestly, I didn't flinch. Missy was sat there, didn't have a clue what was going on. She didn't have. Well, I've just won $7,500. And I'm sat there now,
not bothered.
Didn't bother me one bit.
But so when I say it makes you feel good, it's
easy.
It's the initial response when I say it makes you feel good. That first few. Yeah. I was a cocaine addict for 20 years. Yeah. You know, it ruined my life multiple times. Mm. The last 5-10 years, I never felt good doing it, not once. Yeah. I'd go home and I'd look like Gollum off Lord of the Rings, sat on my own at fucking 7 o'clock in the morning, contemplating throwing myself off a fucking bridge. Yeah. And I'd done that for years and years and years. But when you're 18 and you take it then, you feel like, fucking hell, this is amazing. Yeah. And that's all because the standard levels of dopamine, serotonin, all of the neurotransmitters in the brain, they're all underdeveloped. Mm. The brain is underdeveloped in that aspect because of early childhood events, not being able to regulate your emotions as a kid. because I could talk about this shit all day.
Yeah.
There's something called mirror neurons in the brain, whereas kids will mirror our environment to match it. So if you've got a passion, whether it be art or music or something, and you go to your mother or father as a kid and say, "Look, Mum, look at this drawing," and they go, "Oh, no, too busy," you'll deregulate that emotional state to match the environment. And that's what we do as human beings a lot. They say you're a product of your environment. That's what mirror neurons do. So if you're not a big drinker, if you're not a gambler, like you said it yourself, you started gambling when you started playing football at a certain level around certain people who probably did it as well. You're matching your environment. And that all stems from our inability as children in one way, shape or another to regulate ourselves. And I love it. Love speaking about this stuff.
Yeah, you can understand, like with football, especially the professional side of it.
Yeah.
And it is a big thing,
there's
gambling.
money being thrown around left, right and centre, isn't
That's,
it?
I suppose, that's not what footballers do, but that's associated with football. Going out for a beer, that's when you get your first, do you want to go with this? Go on, I'll have a go. So it was brilliant, Dan. I'm going to get one of them myself next Friday.
Association is a massive part of addiction.
Of course it is.
Massive.
And it's, you know, you haven't done it on a Friday in the house yourself. It's because you've been out with mates and someone's done it and you're doing it themselves, and it just spirals from there, doesn't it? And like you say, Lee, it can be so easy to fall into that thing, like.
And that's it. And this is why next year, eventually, when I'm qualified, when I've completed this training, what I'm doing, I want to bring it into the community and be some form of addiction specialist in one way, shape or another, because, again, it's for a different conversation, but the way that the processes of treating people in addiction and trauma at the moment is failing massively. And the guy I had on here last week, he's one of the leading, he's a psychotherapist in the Key, in the trauma clinic.
Oh, okay.
I think he's the lead therapist there, and me and him have been having plenty of conversations, and it's something that needs to change. North Wales last year was one that had the biggest trauma rates of suicide in the UK. It was almost double the national rates, people killing themselves, and things need to change. It's not working. The system's broken in many ways, and it's down to us as human beings to change it.
Yeah, being on the lifeboat, like you're saying now, people don't realise the majority of the shouts we get on Flint are self-harm ones.
Well, I was in the fire service for 4 or 5 years. There was quite a bit of that there.
It's sad, really.
Tough, isn't it?
What about you, Ross? Anything in particular about yourself?
No, not really. No.
You want to stand next year, or in the next week?
I think you should.
I'm giving it a lot of thought, yeah.
Do it, mate.
I try and put a bit of my time into the lifeboat.
You got a bit of time,
more to the family.
You got a bit of time to get it all ready, haven't you?
But I'm 90% sure I will go for it.
That means 100.
Yeah.
It's 100, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 100.
He's just exclusive of this podcast now. Ross is standing next to the
I'm like,
get that as your tagline now.
That's what I'm going to do.
Ross is standing.
When is it? 2027?
It made me mind
May
up.
27.
It made me mind up, and when you said, "Look, I'm not political. I just went in it to help people," and I'd rather do that than be political. If I was going to go for it, it'd be to help people out.
And the thing is, mate, if it's not for you, what's the worst that can happen? You step away from it, right?
Yep, stand down.
Nothing changes if nothing changes, does it, mate?
Doesn't, mate.
And generally, people like you, mate, like myself, that's what the community wants in that chair.
I agree.
That's what we want, mate.
I've got one more question each. Quick fire. 4 people to sit around the dinner table from the past. It can be family or your fucking hero, idol, whoever. They can be alive or past, whoever. 4 people. Roscoe, go.
Dixie Dean.
Yeah.
Loppy, Bobbits, and I don't know really. Martin Luther King.
Nice.
Not bad dinner table, that is it?
Might be a bit of fighting around there.
Yeah, especially with Loppy.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
Yeah. 4 people to sit dinner with. Obviously, number 1 being my old man. Love to have another meal, just one more meal with him. It was such a big shock when COVID got him, like. So definitely my old man would be top table. And I'd go Dalian Atkinson, Villa legend, a big Villa fan.
Yeah.
Love him, mate. Yeah, love to sit on the table and hear stories. John Lennon, got to be on it. Got to be John Lennon.
Man.
See what he's got to say. And Who else would I go with? I'd go with, and then to tie him to my love of motorbikes as well, I'd go with, no, I'll tell you what, motorsport, Colin McRae.
Nice,
Yeah,
that's a shout.
That's where I'd go. Yeah.
Thank you very much, boys. I
No,
appreciate it.
cheers, Lee.
Thanks.
Pleasure,
Ciao.
mate.
Cool.
Top man.
Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks, Cal.
Nice one, boys.